Hello and welcome. Today we are joined by an exceptional healthcare professional whose work has helped transform organ and stem cell donation awareness in the UK. Our guest, Dr Agimol Pradeep, has recently been named among the top 10 finalists for the prestigious Aster Guardians Global Nursing Award. For nearly 3 decades, she has dedicated her career addressing inequalities in transplant care, supporting diverse communities, and championing the nursing profession. Agil, it's really nice to meet you. Congratulations, and thank you for joining me today. Now, first of all, when you first heard that you had been shortlisted among the top 10 nurses in the world, what was going through your mind? How did you feel?
I think I felt incredibly humbling because it was an emotional experience, and I felt deeply honored, not just for myself, but also for the patients, my family, colleagues, community, and the cause I have been serving for the last 20 years also, just for the good cause of promoting gift of life.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever imagine when you first began your journey that your work would one day receive this level of international recognition?
Never, because especially as a nurse, we normally labeled as just the caregivers, and like getting a recognition in the global platform is not something, because of course personally for me, nursing is kind of never been about recognition. It was always been about compassion, advocacy, dignity, and being present for people during some of their vulnerable time. So hearing something like this has elevated that standard of nursing, and my sincere thanks to Aster Global Guardian Nursing Award team for recognizing nurses in this way and giving us a platform to shine globally and promote the cause what each of us stand for, because usually nursing is labeled as the bedside care provider, but it has transformed in many ways now, and nurses are in many leadership roles now, and that it's transforming every day. And I personally feel that nurses are the change agents in the healthcare sector. When it comes to any new interventions, there is a nurse behind that, and I truly feel humbled that I am able to represent my nursing profession in this way.
And I believe, Ajay, that the recognition gives you a kind of strength. It's like a support that you are at the right direction, that, yes, what you are doing, because recognition on this scale usually reflects years of dedication, sacrifice, and purpose, and your work has clearly touched many lives. Now, take us back to the beginning. What inspired you to pursue nursing and eventually specialize in transplant coordination?
Nursing back, because I'm from India, back home, my hometown is in South India, a state called Kerala. So if you look around the nursing history, Kerala nurses are all around the world. So it is most of my aunties, most of my relatives or neighborhood friends always took nursing as one of the profession they chose to. And for my parents, I'm one of 4 daughters, and they identified that I had that compassionate, caring angle in whatever I did. So when it came to choosing a profession, I myself chose nursing, and I thought that was something I felt that I'm able to help people when they are in need. Also, it was one of the professions which allowed individuals to grow professionally, academically, as well as, at the same time, you can financially become stable as well as a kind of sustained, stable profession. So that was one of the reasons at the time. But when I started, I somehow was allocated into renal nursing field, where I was looking after patients with a kidney failure, where I was specialized in, I came out of my nursing school with specialized skills to look after patients on dialysis machine. Dialysis machine is where when someone diagnosed with a kidney failure, when both their kidneys fail, they have to depend on an alternative treatment regime to support their kidney function. So chemodialysis or peritoneal dialysis, those are the two options they had available at the time when I finished my nursing in late 90s. So I specialized in that area, and in early 2000, when the recruitment started to come to the UK, I was lucky enough, or I was blessed enough to get recruited to a hospital in Manchester where they had specialized renal care, where I was posted as a renal nurse, an adaptation nurse at the time to begin with, and then I progressed in the area where I became a staff nurse to a sister in charge of the ward, where I met patients with a kidney failure. And it was a kind of a moment where I realized, oh my God, the transplantation do give back quality of life to these patients, because back home that was not something I was seeing on daily basis. So I then started looking more into the transplantation, and I think the triggering point was one of the patients from my background, Asian background, asked me the challenging question about why he was on the transplant waiting list longer than compared to some of the white patients who have been on the waiting list. Because some of the listeners, you may know, when someone has been diagnosed with a kidney failure, they all have to rely on a unit to give them that dialysis 3 times a week. So they automatically become friends because they are seeing 3 times a week in a unit, in dialysis unit. So they have seen, this specific patient have seen some of the patients from Caucasian background coming within 6 months. They had their transplant opportunity and they moved on with their quality of life. So that was the question when the patient asked me, Aji, because you are from same background, I felt the patient felt confident to ask me, is NHS discriminating me because I'm from the Asian background? And he had a genuine reason why he asked that question. By the time he was on the waiting list over 3 years, and he was counting down, and when he witnessed other patients who've been on the waiting list only for 6 months, so he didn't have much insight into the problem, but he felt that was the reason. But by then I was already a kind of a dedicated, feeling blessed person to work in NHS, because I have seen how the transformative care we provide to the patients without looking at any gender specifics or ethnicity specific or religious specific, because NHS is the one place where you go and you get the best care, and the care provider provides the best to every patient who come through their door. So I then took that question deeply, but I didn't challenge the patient back, but I said, okay, I'm sorry, but I will look into it and get back to you. That's where that was in between 2008 to 2010 period. I started looking into it, and I discussed further with one of the tissue typists and my clinical director at the time, who also was from Asian background, recognized that there is a problem. There is the patients feel that there is disparity in organ allocation because of their ethnicity, and we just need to clarify their questions. So the tissue typist explained to me how the organ donation and transplant allocation work in the NHS or worldwide, because when we have to allocate an organ for a patient to get the best outcome, it is important that they get the tissue type matched organs. Otherwise, even if we transplant an organ without that perfect match, the body is going to reject that organ. So it is important to have that balance. So when I learned that from my tissue typist, I said, okay, if I'm in the field and I didn't know the in-depth of this issue, how do I expect my patients to know further? So then I took that back to my patient who asked me that question to say, there's a problem here. There's a scarcity of organ donors from our ethnic community, diverse background patients who wait longer. Is not because the NHS is discriminating the patients. It is because they are not finding the best match to provide you with that potential donor offer. So then patient started giving me opportunity to come and talk to their family members or their society members. So I started seeing that difference. Then I met with the community and the religious leaders asking, okay, is there a possibility that I could raise the awareness on this specific issue? So that I started in 2011, going out in the community as a voluntary worker during my days off or during my annual leave. I will go and meet with the religious or community leaders and ask, when you have your next event, is it possible for me to talk about this? So it may be a community gathering, a social gathering, or religious gathering. The responsible person will contact me. So I'll go there. I'll showcase their facts and figures of how many patients in the UK are waiting on the transplant waiting list, how many are from Asian background, how many are from Black background, how many are dying. That triggered, and that then started, people started, I will have my organ donor register form with me, and that's where people started joining the donor register. And the NHS Blood and Transplant in the UK, which controls the organ donation program for whole UK, started communicating with me to say that how it's impacting on the awareness. So then 2 years later, I completed a PhD on the same topic. British Renal Society funded my PhD on this specific topic on scarcity of organ donors, increasing organ donors from the South Asian community and through the education intervention. So I worked closely with the general practitioners and the specialist nurses for organ donation on raising awareness and overcoming some of the religious and cultural myths, because it's not any religions against organ donation. It is sadly the misinterpretation around that topic. So by 2014, I completed my PhD, and meanwhile, one of the hematology oncology specialists who looks after the pediatric patients with the blood cancer approached me, raising the concerns about the same issue faced by the South Asian community patients with the blood cancer with not enough stem cell donors. So I then started merging both during my campaign about the raising the awareness on the organ donation and stem cell donation. And then by 2014, we formed a charity called Ubahar. We have got around 70 to 100 volunteers anytime throughout the UK. We start talking about this organ donation and stem cell donation in multiple languages, religious background. So then we have got currently over 10,000 new donors registered onto the stem cell donor register in the UK in the last 10 years. So that means, that potentially another 10,000 lives we're saving in the coming years. And organ donor numbers are going up from the South Asian community because people are talking about it.
This is amazing. And obviously, it is hard work, and we have to thank you once more for everything you do. But were there moments, Ajil, when you face resistance or any discouragement during this mission?
I think sometimes because, as I mentioned, because even though I'm doing this in a volunteer capacity, sometimes individuals feel that there is some personal gain. So for me, the personal gain is when I see someone registering themselves as a potential organ or stem cell donor. I see that in the future, they are going to be a savior to someone, and at least they're going to talk about it. So that's the best gift I gain and best result I get from that service. The other issue initially when I started in 2010-2015 period was a lot of religious misinterpretation, and the people were facing those challenges. And I'm not a religious expert, so what I have gained is by talking to the religious experts, the scholars, the imams, and the Hindu pujaris, they started kind of giving me or enabling me or sharing their knowledge, which equipped me with the correct information to pass on to the message, because organ donation it's such a sensitive topic, and it is individual's decision. No one has got any authority to to tell the person, okay, this is the way you have to do. It is an individual decision. So we have to respect that individual for making that decision. Because in the UK, we're losing, despite we being the developed country, despite having the best organ donation and transplantation system in place, we are losing around 3 patients every day. And I was reading the global data, and they published the data in 2024, and they said every 15 minutes globally, 1 patient is dying waiting for an organ donor. So there are a lot of facts and figures out there, and that speaks the volume. And it is, for me, I feel it is all about, of course, there will be challenges, but if you stand corrected and if you stand well informed, when someone asks you a question about the organ donation, as I said, because it's such a sensitive topic, you need to be aware about the answers, what you are saying. Don't mislead the community, but at the same time, provide them with the correct information, especially the facts and figures. That makes the wonder.
Exactly, and in that way they earn your trust as well. But tell me, Ajit, how easy it is for you to detach, emotionally detach yourself from these circumstances? Because you get to meet people who need the transplant, and sometimes it's not easy to find the donor or someone, a match. Do you get emotionally involved?
Thank you, Ursula. That's a very important question. Of course, we are human, so we all have emotions. So I do, especially because of my community work and involvement in the community, I do get calls outside my work area where I get, they may hold on to me only because the only person who they know work in this field may be only me. So they call me to say, okay, we have these challenges. Then you feel that you get connected. And for example, someone who with a blood cancer, she was only 3 years old, the parents reached out to me to say, we have only 1 child and she has been diagnosed with the blood cancer. Both the parents are not the match. Can you help us to find a potential match? So with the help of the Delete Blood Cancer organization in the UK, with OBHA volunteers, we rolled out the national donor campaigns. And by God's grace, they found a potential donor. And and for that child now, she celebrated 7th birthday last month. And those kind of when it comes to you, especially as a mother, as a wife, as a daughter, I get it as well. But I thank God because I have a very supportive family. My husband and I've got 2 teenage daughters. They understand. So when I feel like I am able to share those worries or get the support I need at the time. Also, I'm got lucky that I have got mentors and friends who are willing to listen if I need their support.
Yeah, because it's very important to look after yourself first. People need you, and in order to be able to help others, you need to look after yourself, to know your limits, to switch off when you are at home, because the next day you will have more energy and the strength and all this emotional, situation that you need to be in order to help others. But you are doing something really unique, and it's amazing. Now, do you feel nurses are finally receiving the recognition they deserve globally, especially after the challenges of recent years?
I think, as I said before, Basila, because I don't think any of the nurses come to nursing for a recognition, because, you feel like this is a calling. For me, definitely, nursing is not. I didn't take it because it's a profession and I'm going to, be a millionaire at the end of the year. I felt it was a calling, and I have a Christian upbringing. So, like in our upbringing, the parents taught me in that way, like when someone is suffering, you should not move away from them. You have to do the the perfect care, what you can give to them. So I think these recognitions definitely motivates me, people like me, even more to continue with the learning, serve with the humility, and use my voice to advocate for patients and the nursing profession. Because acknowledge that every recognition and the visibility comes with accountability and responsibility. So I take this honor with that specific angle of my commitment more to the profession. But globally, I think having Aster Global Award or any recognition like that, definitely I feel compared to the past, Vasula, I think nurses are able to climb the ladders, and we are more visible in the policy changing era, or AI technologies. We are getting more visibility, but there's more to do. There's more to do.
Absolutely. And what advice would you give to young nurses or healthcare professionals watching this show or listening, who hope to make a difference in people's lives?
Thank you, Vasila. Yeah, to any nurses who are listening out there, please remember that you are a leader, you are a change agent, because nurses, sometimes when we are on the band 5 or a staff nurse level, we think that, we are just a bedside care provider. You are not. Whichever level you're working, you as a nurse, you came out as a leader. You were equipped with leadership skills. You don't need to be in a management role to be a leader. You have every day you're making a difference in individual's life. So, for example, in reflecting on my own life, I could have sat back with that patient question. I was not in a management role when the patient asked me about the question about disparity in organ allocation. But that question enabled me to make a huge impact in that area. So anyone you're listening to me, if you get questioned by a patient about some challenges, just don't ignore, just don't sit back and think that the problem is the system fault. Instead, you step forward and think, what can I do to help the situation? And that brings the wonders.
Absolutely. Naju, thank you so much for joining us today. Your journey is not only inspiring because of the awards and the recognition, but because of the lives you have changed. Thank you for this amazing work, and we wish you best of luck at the awards. And we would love to know the outcome. I know it's not about recognition, but we like people like you to be recognized and awarded, because we need you a lot, and we want you to be happy and strong. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Vasula. Yeah, my true hope is that this is a global platform. I'll be able to talk more about the gift of life, and every nurse who listens to this global podcast after the event, I'm hoping that, because it's not every country have got the organ donation and transplantation program in place. So if there is someone who want to develop a program, I am more than happy to go there and share my knowledge and skills as well. So yeah, thank you for the opportunity you have given me, Misilla.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Best of luck.
Thank you. Bye-bye.